Welcome back. Well, we may have solved the mystery as to why Windows users cannot switch to Linux. Well, sort of. Let's take a look at some of your comments. This is from Joe Johnson. Hello. MX16 solves all those issues, everything that works, and you don't have to use the terminal. Ubuntu and all distros based of it. And Manjaro, along with so many YouTube videos showing that you need to use the terminal, are the problems why Windows users don't switch to Linux. I had to reply, no such thing as using Linux and never having to use the terminal. Joe replies, you haven't used MX16 yet. Joe, that is true, but I stick to what I've said. Thanks for posting. OW the Edge. Ow the Edge. Hello, Ow the Edge. I find it funny since Ubuntu easily detected my Canon printer via the network. The only reason that stops me from switching full-time to Linux is the games. Well, that used to be my reason until games such as Saints Row and many more got ported to Linux. Gregzor Gear, I think that's how I say it. Hello. Let's see. Recent releases and old releases still don't have a proper support, which is kinda annoying. That's especially bad with niche games such as the Tales of series. Yeah, I had to ask you which Canon model worked, because it seems like of all the printers out there, drivers for Canon seems to be a little sparse. Orca, hello. Being too lazy to use Linux is not a reason at all. Guess the same people weren't too lazy to get used to Windows. So there, yeah, I'm tossing that in myself. Yeah. Alright, printers, more to the point, we gotta say printer drivers are the problem of the hardware manufacturers. Well, that's certainly true, at least for Canon. Let me move on here. Thank you, Orca, for posting this long one, by the way. Okay, if anybody is forced to use a special proprietary closed software, by all means stick to your Windows. But those cases don't count since your boss will have to buy the hardened software anyway. Compatibility with what? Have 5 Linux machines now, desks and laptops never had any compatibility issues. Orca, that's because you're from another planet. I'm just kidding. You've been very lucky. I mean, what else can I say? Alright, games are a non-topic. I don't know, man. A lot of people love to play their games, although admittedly I don't play too much on my desktop. I play that racing game in Windows, Asphalt Airborne. It's so cool to play that game. But yeah, I don't do too much gaming on a PC. Okay, what else do we have here? So, yeah, thank you for posting all of that stuff. But generally, I would have to, I think I did reply, actually. Greg Zora's Gear says thoroughly debunked. What compatibility issues have no compatibility? No, nobody does. Don't look debunked at all to me, considering the guy who made the video still put all these reasons despite your comments earlier. Kind of disproves your point. Let me just say about this, okay? And I think I've said this before. First of all, thank you for all of your comments, positive and negative, and that's cool. The best operating system is the one that works for you, period. Okay, Orca, I'm a girl of principles. Very good. And if it's some hardware manufacturer's fault, I won't blame it on Linux. Fair enough. Of course, games don't count. Well, that's why I kind of disagree. About compatibility issues, I have no idea what you're all abusing your computers. Trust me, Orca, I've been doing this, well, testing Windows, although I test that too, testing Linux since '06. And sooner or later, you may have some compatibility issues. I think the problem is there are so many different choices when it comes to Linux. If you look at DistroWatch, there's 100. Now, if you count all the offshoots and the forks of that, everything is all forked up. There's probably hundreds of them. And sooner or later, unless a new user is told which ones to use, to narrow it down to avoid issues. Okay. Printing, only reason anyone ever told me why they used a printer that almost made sense was so they could print out different versions of book manuscripts. Well, somebody mentioned some people have to use it. My good friend from Germany, Stephanie Foran, who's a singer-songwriter, needs to print out stuff all the time. In fact, today she posted a vlog and she had to do 2 things, buy food and buy more ink. So yeah, there are some people who have to use a printer. Maybe not as much, but printers are important. Sometimes I'll print out stuff, you know, to use for the weekly news vlogs that I do, just to have a quick, you know, cheat sheet, as it were. I don't print a lot, but it's nice to have one around. Okay, yes, I did reply to Orca. You guys can read that. Let me move on here. Orca replied, "Hey Toss, yes and no. I was born and raised in Germany. Yeah, so you were born in Germany and now live in South Africa 20 years ago. That's cool. Wow. So thank you for being part of my channel, Orca. It's greatly appreciated. Orca, you mentioned something about ThinkPads, that you like ThinkPads. Yeah, I absolutely love my ThinkPads. Let's see. Avian Tech Repair, PC Repair 1. The screen is actually fine. You're having mini strokes. Get to the ER immediately. I replied, yes, ER. I need an emergency resolution AMD driver. Yeah, my particular graphics card, there's no updated driver for it, so occasionally my screen will flicker, will go blank just for a second or two and come back at random times. So that's why I joked, the ER emergency resolution. Anyway. All right, Shakir Regalo. Hello. Yes, indeed. And newbies, issues. Every person, user always need a guideline or sometimes to get used to. Thanks. I did reply, thank you. And Shakir, you're very much welcome. Well, look, this channel was based and designed primarily for newbies, new users who need a little bit of help in trying to get started with Linux if they so choose to, either out of curiosity, as a dual boot, or as a replacement. Nowadays, there are a lot of great Linux channels for new users, but 7 years ago, there wasn't that many. That's why I got started with this. But anyway, thank you for your comments. With or without, hello. Compatibility is one of the biggest problem and always and forever bugs in every distro. Well, I will say this in general. Windows is the king of malware and Linux is the king of bugs. Gregory Locke, hello. Toss, I almost switched from Windows to Linux, but several things hold me back. Firstly, the FAT system on USB drives needs check this from time to time. The other day, just decided I would test the FSCK, okay, and Gparted, and while it didn't destroy my data, it changed my USB drive and made it unusable on both my Windows 7 computer and my TV couldn't read it. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, use Linux to move the files off the drive and Windows to reformat it. Now it works, see? Next is the NTFS file system on external drives. Most of the time it works okay in Linux, but once in a while it will do something strange and a file won't read or delete correctly from a Windows 7 computer. I fixed it by using Linux to delete the file, then I recopied the file to a USB drive. Dude, there's a lot of driving there, haha. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're having all these problems. I don't recall ever having a problem with the file system in both Windows or Linux. I mean, there was that one time in Ubuntu where there was a known bug. It was released anyway, and I all my files got deleted, just gone. Luckily, I backed up 90% of it. But I did reply. What a headache! I'm sorry to hear you had all those issues. All right, moving along. Slack Climax. Hey Toss, today Mac is based off of FreeBSD through the Darwin kernel. All the best. Thank you for posting. Linux Quest, that would be Rob. Hello Rob. I hear many times from gamers that Linux does not support the games they play. I did reply a common theme, or well, you really don't like this topic, do you? If kids want to play games, let them buy toys. I used to buy toys for my boy. Anyway, gaming is getting better in Linux, but I think right now Windows is the king, at least when it comes to gaming. Krefas Zedafru. I hope I say that right. I got a new tablet, laptop with Windows 8.1 for my birthday, and I'm still waiting for my chipset driver. I am sorry to hear that. Issues with the cooling fan. Yeah, Orca replied, yikes, nobody should be forced to work with those tablet things. They are the scourge of man. I have a couple tablets. I don't use them as much as my big HTC One Max phone because the screen is big enough for me to read. But yeah, I mean, if you really have a big phone, do you need a tablet? I'm not really sure. All right, some other comments here. Greg Zorgear says you can actually change online account to local one. Unicate, hello. Hi, Krifas. Unless this is a tablet-specific issue, you can create a local account in Windows 8.1. Sign into your Microsoft account. Yeah, this has to do with multiple accounts in Windows. Let's see. Krifas says, who the hell uses a printer in 2017? Well, my good friend Stephanie Forian. Okay, she has to. So yeah. All right, moving along. C128D. Yes, I have to agree. You would be surprised. Printers aren't going away anytime soon. I tell you who uses printers, internet cafes, that's who. They do? I guess they do. And that's exactly where I go and get my 2 or 3 annual printouts done for cents. And here in the States, it would be like an Office Max or Office Depot, I suppose. Not having to deal with clunky printers, ending up with dusty shelves when... Orca, I've come to the conclusion that you are allergic to printers. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm just kidding, just kidding. Yeah, Gregor's gear, self-employed people. Yeah, that would be true. Krivas says, well, most average people don't use them. Well, how will you define average? I'm not sure. Some more replies here. If there's many complaints, that just means it has to be important to normal people. On the contrary, this is by C128D. On the contrary, most average people do use them. That's probably more accurate. Overall, the use of printers and printed material hasn't decreased that much in the last 10 to 15 years. Orca says office and bank workers are on many company machines and have little to decide about what OS they use. Well, I don't know. Can they decide? Linux is based off Unix, not the other way around. Yeah, maybe I got this backwards. Not exactly based off Unix. That's what they call it, Unix-like. Close enough. Okay. Thank you for all of your comments and replies. I don't want to drag this on any more than I have to. So, you know, there are several reasons why Windows users can't switch. You know, one reason might be they just don't care to switch. They're happy with what works, and that's fine, whether it's Windows or Mac. Maybe someone tried to pick the wrong distribution, like say Arch, which is not for beginners. Maybe they were not given the proper guidance or help, like what I do on this channel, to pick something that's easier or easier to get started. Maybe someone did, and you know they couldn't get their iPad to hook up or whatever. So, you know, once again, my number one reason is the lack of a mass-marketed, affordable Linux desktop that you can walk into your local electronics store and buy it for $500 or less. That is the sweet spot, in my opinion, price-wise, for a mass-marketed Linux machine. I hope that makes sense. That's all I have for this one. Thank you for all of your comments. It's always a joy reading these and replying and, you know, making a little fun here and there. It's all, you know, for the goodness of all, right? For all of us to learn, live and learn. Well, that's all I have for this one. Be safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.